published 1348 est, the 22nd of November 2017, updated 2031 est, the 22nd of November 2017. Antonio Conte is writing his own script. When Chelsea lost to Burnley on the opening day of the Premier League season, you got the impression it was the beginning of the end. 4 months later, Conte, thanks to a routine win over Qarabag on Wednesday night, has guided his team to the last 16 of the Champions League. Back among Europe's elite, exactly where Roman Abramovich expects his expensively assembled squad to be. Eden Hazard set Chelsea off on the right foot when he slotted home a first-half penalty to give the English side the lead. Pedro Wright seemed delighted as he celebrated with Hazard after the Belgian had put Chelsea ahead in the Baku rain. The penalty was given for a foul by Qarabag captain Rashad Sadygov, which the referee felt was worthy of a red card. Willian then doubled Chelsea's lead when he finished a lovely team move past goalkeeper Ibrahim Sehic before half-time. Willian looked delighted as he helped Chelsea confirm the place in the knockout stage of this season's Champions League. Cesc Fabregas added a third goal for the Premier League champions, netting from the penalty spot with 15 minutes remaining. Willian then capped off an excellent performance in Azerbaijan as he fired from long distance past the Qarabag goalkeeper. Chelsea are now guaranteed of a place in the last 16, but still need a result on the final match to secure top spot ahead of Roma. 9 points behind domestic leaders Manchester City is a far from ideal position to be in going into December. But Chelsea's title defence has been far from a disaster. All in all, this is very unlike Chelsea. What happened to the second season managerial curse? A season of success followed by one of failure, eventually leading to the manager's sacking. We've seen the enough times to know the ending. Questions continue to linger over Conte's job security and his relationship with the real decision-makers at Stamford Bridge. But maybe, just maybe, Conte can become the one that sticks. He is consistently delivering. Those above him in the Chelsea food chain will do well to remember that. Willian is felled by Qarabag captain Sadygov, who saw red for his challenge after just 19 minutes of the match in Azerbaijan. Willian hits the ground at the Olympic Stadium in Baku, before the referee show Sadygov a red card. Sadygov looked distraught to have been sent off, leaving Group C's bottom side with a very difficult match ahead of them here in Baku. The Blues were indebted to 2 hugely debatable penalties and the controversial sending off of Qarabag skipper Rashad Sadygov. But, make no mistake, Chelsea would have won this game no matter what. In the end it was for Eden Hazard and Cesc Fabregas penalties supplementing Willian's brace. But it should have been double that goal tally, Chelsea squandering a host of chances against the Azerbaijani champions. The big news before kickoff saw the recall of David Luiz to the Chelsea starting 11 following a training ground flare-up with his manager which saw him miss the last 2 games. Only time will tell if Luiz can work his way back into Conte's domestic plans, but, for now, the Brazilian is off the naughty step. Hazard kept his cool despite the long break between the foul and his penalty kick, easily slotting past Sehic to make it 10 as Sehic dived to his right. Hazard fired the ball into the opposite corner of the goal to set Chelsea off on the right track. Cesar Azpilicueta and N'Golo Kante joined Chelsea's goalscorer Hazard and Willian to celebrate the Blues' opening goal in Baku. Was one of 4 changes from the side that brushed West Bromwich side so emphatically on Saturday, Conte clearly keeping one eye on Saturday's showdown against Liverpool. Not that the changes would have filled Qarabag with any more optimism. Seasoned internationals Willian, Antonio Rudiger and Pedro the other 3 alterations. However, from the opening 15 minutes, it was hard to tell which team were overwhelming favourites. Buoyed by the exuberant home support, Qarabag started brightly, showing no sign of an inferiority complex. They were unlucky not to take a 14-minute lead as Chel rattled the bar from close range after Chelsea's back 4 parted like the Red Sea. Hazard then turned provider for the second as he flicked beauty for Willian to finish 10 minutes before the half-time break. Willian put the ball past Sehic to all but confirmed Chelsea's place in the knockout stages of Europe's premier competition. The Brazilian picked the ball up in celebration after doubling Chelsea's lead in Baku's Olympic Stadium on Wednesday night. The decibel levels soared Qarabag on the biggest night of their history since one of the most profound Champions League shocks of all time. 5 minutes later the cheers turned to jeers. The boos were aimed at Portuguese referee Manuel de Souza, who had just awarded Chelsea a 20th-minute penalty after Willian fell in the box under pressure from Sadygov. The home side were incensed. Television replays suggest they have a case. But if they were livid at the penalty, then you only imagine the fury at de Souza when he brandished a red card. The Qarabag skipper couldn't believe it, stood staring into thin air with his hands on his head. His teammates were taking a more proactive approach, angrily remonstrating with the Portuguese official. David Zappacosta, Pedro, Willian and Hazard celebrate as Sehic picks the ball up following Chelsea's second goal. The keeper guessed the right way with Fabregas' penalty towards the end, but the Spaniard still found the back of the net. Fabregas kisses the tattoo on his left forearm to celebrate scoring Chelsea's third goal on the way to a 40 victory in Baku. The injustice was all too much for manager Roman Abramovich, who called all his players to the touchline for an impromptu team talk. Perhaps they were praying for a miracle as they huddled in together. Not that Hazard was bothered, sending Ibrahim Sehic the wrong way to put Chelsea ahead. The Olympic Stadium fell quiet. The home crowd knew this was over as contest. The sense of injustice made it even more difficult to swallow for the Azerbaijanis. Hazard and Lewis both went close with headers to double Chelsea's advantage before the Blues eventually scored the second 9 minutes before the break. Willian took the glory, coolly slotting past Sehic, but Hazard's audacious flick to set up the Brazil international was exquisite. Willian gets the better of Elvin Unizard, who can get in the way of the Brazilian's powerful shot to make it 4 late on. Qarabag goalkeeper Sehic looked dishevelled after the fourth goal went in, making sure of Chelsea's emphatic victory. Willian was the standout player for Chelsea, scoring twice and providing plenty of energy for Antonio Conte's side in Baku. Pedro and Hazard were thwarted by Sehic soon after the restart, though the misses didn't matter. This game was over after de Souza's 20th-minute intervention. Conte soon turned his attentions to Anfield, bringing off Marcos Alonso, N'Golo Kante and Hazard for Gary Cahill, Danny Drinkwater and Alvaro Morata, respectively. The second half was dying a death. That was until de Souza's third controversial ruling of the night. Willian, jockeyed by Garagarev, looked to be going down a blind alley, only for de Souza to spot the slightest of shirt pulls. The protests weren't as vociferous this time. Qarabag players more bewildered than angry on this occasion. Cesc Fabregas, after being asked to retake his first successful effort, fired past Sehic to extend Chelsea's lead before Willian completed the cakewalk in the 85th minute. Chelsea manager Conte, sporting a trendy beard on the sidelines, on as his side romp past Qarabag in Azerbaijan. David Luiz rises highest at a corner, but the Chelsea defender cannot divert his header goalwards under significant pressure. Pedro was involved in a collision with Sehic, managing to keep his balance while dribbling before hitting the Qarabag keeper.